Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. We have a ton of uncertainty that has came into the market today with trading volumes that kind of decline because of a train of volatility that could be coming either in the bullish or the bearish direction due to the fact that everybody is going to be listening to the Fed's testimony upon Congress tomorrow. They're going to be reporting likely key details on the state of the economy, talking about jobs data, also looking at the inflationary trend, and specifically speaking about the possibility of the number or the frequency of interest rate cuts, because the market is trying to price that in. So everybody's going to be taking a look at that. In addition, we have Apple that shakes up one of the stocks here, the Magnificent Seven, due to the fact that they reported a 24% decline in iPhone sales in China. Palantir, however, amongst all this news and with the uncertainty, held stronger like I thought. It's doing a great job here at the 23s. We're going to be breaking it down, talking about the potential future here, and also getting into some articles. They also likely have secured another governmental contract, very bullish for PLTR, and possibly a pullback here. Can that be beneficial for the long term? Before we get too far, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Quickly recapping here, on terms of the global markets, you got the market today. NASDAQ drops down on top along here with the Dow Jones and the actual S&P 500, all down about 1 to 1.5%. Quickly here, toggling over what we did have, like I said, Apple comes under pressure here after the report of the iPhone sales falling over 24%. On top of that, looking at crypto, they also reached a fresh all-time high today, but then had about a 10% correction immediately to about 62,000. Right now, as we speak, sitting around 63,000 a coin. Where we sit and what I was talking about before is that investors are focused on Jerome Powell's testimony to Congress on Wednesday, and I agree here with Yahoo Finance. His words will be closely watched. On top of that, we have an Atlanta Fed president that said that he sees just one rate cut this year penciled in for the third quarter. Whoa, that is way less than that we were originally expecting, that 6 to 7. Toggle over here to Palantir Technologies, holding well today and finding some support here at around the 23s. Great job for PLTR. And you can see this previous micro level of support right here that is actually being relied upon and is furthering its actual strengthening basis at this level. And at 23.81 and basically staying the same in the after hours right here, even with a little bit of lower trading volume coming in here, 49 million compared to its 3-month average at about 68 million, holding that $50 billion market cap strong here. And if we toggle over here to the options, looking at PLTR, lots of call options, even though we do have uncertainty coming to the market and a lot of eyeballs are going to be looking at tomorrow's data. What we do have is 17,000 in terms of call volume at the $25 strike price. So in terms, and that beats right here all the put volume basically, in terms of the short-term end of the week contracts for expirations, people are taking a bullish perspective on PLTR to break out above the $25 resistance point. For those contracts to be in the money, they need to break above this $25 resistance point, which, hey, guess what? That is over a 52-week year-to-date high for 2024. Big things that we do have for PLTR is that they will likely win this $178 million Titan contract. Now, with the U.S. Army, this is great here, talking about what the Titan contract is. This is the Tactical Intelligence Targeting Axis node, and this is beginning phase 3 on this Titan project. So great to see here that Palantir, as we know, has been a key player in securing its governmental contracts in the past, still continuing to do that thus far, even though they've put a lot of resources into getting involved with the commercial and the private sector. Going back to the roots, Palantir is still working well with these governmental contracts. We will be on the lookout to see if we get confirmation if they actually win this. Remember, this is likely here winning a $178 million contract. And this article here comes from Seeking Alpha. I'm an affiliate. If you want to get 20% off there to get all the data that I'm reading here, check out the affiliate link down in the description. Let's talk about the potential catalyst. Investor Place comes out here with this article talking about possibility of Palantir stock doubling by 2026 and why I kind of agree with this. More likely not just due to the fundamentals of a stock being included in the S&P 500 here, but the actual hype and the momentum and the buying pressure that would be surrounding this theory and if this came into reality. The reason I say that is because last Friday we had the first S&P 500 quarterly review. Super Microcomputer, SMC, was the stock that got included rather than PLTR. And PLTR is actually holding strong regarding that news, more that buy the rumor, kind of sell the news data, holding strong here, like I said, at the 23s. I'm kind of quite surprised by the price action here. What we see with PLTR, and specifically more in general, stocks joining the S&P 500 typically gain about a 4 to 5% increase in valuation, historically looking, just due to all the different funds and large funds that track the S&P 500. Such as the VOO, Vanguard, and many other of these big firms. With that being said, when Palantir actually does join the S&P 500, I think the amount of waiting and the amount of anticipation and the amount of time that people have been actually hoping for this to happen could cause a large drive in its stock price. And that is because Palantir has fit all the criteria for beating the S&P 500, for being included in the S&P 500. They have, of course, the market cap. And in addition, they also achieved not just 4 quarters of GAAP profitability, which is the minimum, but now have 5 consecutive quarters. If Palantir's, with their AIP here, gaining traction, this could be a big differentiator upon further quarterly reviews. And we know PLTR, we've seen it on Zacks.com data. They are the biggest and one of the most trendiest search stocks right now. So we know there's a lot of pressure on the S&P panel too, taking a look at this, everybody asking, hey, when will this actually be included in the S&P 500? On top of that, what we are seeing with PLTR is that they are going to be growing in terms of the guidance that they have came out with. We saw this with the last quarter 4 guidance that they released for the incoming year, fiscal year of 24. And with that, they are guiding U.S. commercial revenue excess in total of $640 million, implying a 40% year-over-year growth. And I think why this is critical, and what I talked about in previous videos, is that AIP and its dive into the private sector, and we've seen the increase just in fiscal year 2023 with the commercial revenue and commercial customer count. This is, I think, is a key catalyst to bring PLTR to possibly getting that double the price. We're talking about PLTR in the $50 zones. So if you couple that and correlate that with an inclusion in the S&P 500, and specifically here being the next candidate, I think PLTR's shares could surge. I agree with this article talking about here, as many people will start to trickle in and possibly get that FOMO trickle effect. And in addition, Palantir is likely going to see a higher compounded annual growth rate in revenue and earnings per share over the next several years. And the reason why we're seeing this and why the valuation is high, one of the biggest criticisms, we don't need to keep beating the bush because we talked about it many times on the valuation. We know why it has a high valuation because of this right here. Earnings per share revisions in the last 90 days, up over 16 already in terms of the bullish direction. We're still 2 months away from the next quarter earnings, and you already have 16 revisions in the bullish directions in terms of earnings per share. Right now at 8 cents of earnings per share and revenue at $615 million. So projections that Palantir is going to continue to beat their earnings. No wonder why we're seeing this high valuation. We're also seeing right here, Amit posts right here, give credit, of course, to who always posts, the post that I cover on Twitter, that Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, they buy 79,000 shares of PLTR. Now, we know Kathy Wood is a major investor in PLTR and, in addition, a major investor in disruptive technologies, AI stocks, for example, and PLTR being a leading competitor within that industry. It makes sense here why Kathy Wood is increasing her bag and accumulating possibly before PLTR does get included in the S&P 500. Other than that, talking about what we do have in terms of the market quickly here. If we go to the other AI stocks and why I think we're still continuing to see a bullish direction, NVIDIA has really been a leader in this AI demand. And you can see here, NVIDIA increases here another $7 on the day at 876, hitting the top right here. There is not showing any sign of slowing down for NVIDIA. And this is why I think what we've seen, even with bad, remember in January when we had inflation that came in a little hotter than expected, we had a pullback for about 1 trading day. That was all brushed off and ignored the next day. So I think even if we continue to see a small pullback right here, the demand and the momentum that we have right now behind AI stocks is continuing to outpace the decisions that are being made by the Fed. Unless the Fed makes some large statements, such as, hey, we're only doing one interest rate cut this year, or we're not doing any at all, that's when I think we could see a reversal on what's trying to be priced in here. Because right now, the market is, in my opinion, getting a little bit ahead of itself. But however, the momentum and the demand that's behind the buying pressure is continuing to keep these stocks afloat and at these high all-time highs that we're seeing. I mean, everything is sitting at an all-time high right now. So it all just depends. When is that pullback? However, can the drive keep continuing? I think it really can. However, tomorrow is going to be a big, big variable in that statement. Peace out. Catch you guys later. And of course, always do your own due diligence and research out there.